Yuck!
Yuck!
I never kissed you with a beard before.
I kiss you and you say yuck?
In the next scene that we observe, the crew begin to act strangely. Well, I say strange. They honestly regress to their Season 1 characterizations, just with the roles reversed. This time we have a thirsty Riker and a Deanna who isn't so much. Swapped gender roles from what they did in Season 1. Very progressive. Anyway, a thirsty Riker comes down to try and seduce Deanna Troi. It's cringe. Also, I hate that we don't see this with Beverly and Picard as well. Those two really deserve to be together, but anyway. With the showing of sexual tension reigniting between the counselor and XO, something I'm sure that isn't against any Starfleet regulations, we move on to analyzing Data and why he went crazy.
I had to reconstruct Data's neural net and replace these. They contain memory engrams.
How were they damaged?
By a sonar weapon. There's no doubt about it, Captain. That's what caused Data to malfunction.
LaForge, after having issues with his implanted eyes, determines Data's memory engrams were damaged during combat. It's believed that he went rogue after getting hit with a sonar device. The weapon apparently damaged his short-term memory, and a backup system activated that required Data to only observe logic, specifically good and evil. Well, it's a good thing that good and evil are straightforward with no nuance, or this backup system would make no sense. It's also interesting that we didn't see this happen in the TNG episode, Thine Own Self. In that specific story, Data was able to theorize, interact, and even be manipulated after losing his memory. It's possible that this backup system was created in response to that, but that makes no sense. As stated, good and evil, what is bad, can be highly nuanced, especially depending on the context. So, whose morality are we going to base his subroutines on? It's more likely that the writers either didn't realize or ignored what happened in the previous episode, which is weird. The Fandom Menace tells me this only happens in Disco-era Trek, never Legacy, so I'm kind of confused. Anyway, continuing on, the last thing Data remembers is following some kids who are alone in the woods near the dam, which is kind of icky. Data goes alone with two very small children, who don't know he's there, into a secluded area, and all of a sudden he is attacked. Yeah, there's no implications there. After being told to leave and never come back, Picard and Data return. And they also have their weapons. They ask to see these children and where they went. The kids lead them to the dam, and they find odd neutrino emissions. Initially, they can't detect anything. It's stated that the sensors are inhibited by kelbonite deposits in the hill, which is used to explain why the Enterprise doesn't pick anything up. When nothing pops up on the tricorder either, Picard asks for a passive radiation scan. This picks up something, specifically the neutrinos that I pointed out. Though I do have to ask after Picard points this out. Why aren't they using passive radiation scans on the Enterprise all the time? We know neutrinos are detected around cloaked vessels, and we know cloaked vessels are used by enemies of Starfleet sometimes. So why wouldn't ships use these passive sensors? I mean, like all the time. Granted, neutrinos appear with other phenomena, such as the DS9 wormhole, but still, this should be something every ship, especially Federation ship, does as a part of normal operations. Regardless, Data walks into the lake because that's what he does, and they are able to determine that there is something under the water, a cloaked vessel, a cloaked Federation ship.
The vessel is clearly Federation in origin, Captain.
Just a few loose ends to tie up.
It's interesting to note how normal this seems to be to Picard and Data. There is a Federation ship with a cloaking device. Now, as stated, this is most likely set in 2375 and either at the end of the war or very close to it. While the Defiant having a cloaking device may probably be known, especially by Picard, the normalization we see here would make me think that the Federation has begun to utilize cloaking technology, at least to a limited extent. Data and Picard decide to investigate further, Picard somewhat incredulous at what the Admiral's words were before, and they set upon the cloaked vessel. As they are making their way over there, they have an unexpected traveling companion.
We're not interested in such things.
I am.
I think it will be wiser.
I'm going with you.
The trio board the ship and determine that its entire point is to basically be a flying holodeck. During this time, it's theorized Data was attacked for discovering the holodeck as an attempt to prevent him from telling the others. While discussing this, they are attacked by a Sona, and our boy Picard throws the woman out into the water. Not all heroes wear capes, after all. After defeating I guess it's just one guard, Picard and Data walk out casually, with Picard telling the computer to deactivate the hologram and to decloak the ship.
Computer, end program. Decloak the vessel.
Why does the computer listen to him? Does the captain of the Enterprise have access to every computer? Why would they leave a vital piece of their plan unrestricted? You would think that few could give the ship commands based on how important it is. No time to ponder that, though. It would seem that the woman of the hour can't swim. Which, for someone who can't swim, she certainly is able to use her arms and legs effectively to stay above water to ensure that she doesn't drown. Fun note though, a person can drown in under 60 seconds. In fact, a human adult can drown in as little as 40 seconds. It takes Picard about 47 to 48 seconds to get to her. Kinda cutting it close, even if this is the most undrowning drowning I've ever seen. I know I've been ignoring it, but I'll go ahead and address Data's jokes here.
I seem to be missing several memory engrams. There they are.
Data, what's the last thing that you remember?
His nose should pant and his lips should curl.
In the event of a water landing, I have been designed to serve as a flotation device.
He's not funny to me at all. It completely falls flat. I'm not sure why they're even attempting this comedy. They just don't know how to do it in Trek movies. Just stop. Beyond that, I will also say that I do enjoy some of the technicals that they did during these scenes, specifically with Data underwater. I did a little research to see if I could figure it out, but couldn't find it. Best I can tell, they took Data, put him behind like an aquarium or water of some sort, and then began to blow air up into his uniform, which made it seem like he was underwater. It's actually really well done. Anyway, moving on.